Let's talk skin. Let's talk truth. This is Barefaced Chat, and I'm Kelly Saynor. I've spent over 2 decades in aesthetics, seen behind the filters, under the makeup, and beneath the skin. On this podcast, we strip back the noise and get real about beauty, identity, and everything in between. In this episode, we cover innovation and industry insight. We look at regulation and education, practitioner support and product rollout, and then the aesthetics landscape ahead. Because skin isn't just skin, it's your story, and I'm here for it. I'm Kelly Saynor. Are you ready for some barefaced chat? Disclaimer: the views shared in this episode are personal opinion and are not intended as medical advice. Always consult with a qualified professional before making decisions about your skin or health. My guest today is someone I've admired in this industry for a long time, not just for his clinical expertise, but for the ethical backbone he brings to everything that he does. Mr. Julien Tordjmann, the founder of 40 Medical, a name synonymous with innovation, high standards, and evidence-based practice in the aesthetics world.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for bringing it. Because I'm still a huge advocate of it. And I think that's what I've really respected about what you do when we first met. Like, you're just Mr. Sharp and the nicest guy. So you are not only Mr. Sharp and the nicest guy.
Wow.
But
okay. You should do this more often. It's really good. It's really good for the soul. Can I come again next week? Or if I'm feeling a little bit down.
yeah, get a bit pep up. You're an advocate for practitioner education, and you're a firm believer in transparency, and someone who has helped shape the way that products are introduced and supported in the UK in a really responsible way. And that's one thing that I've always got from you. You're always on that side, on understanding regulation, and it's really important. And so many distributors, I don't believe, can truly say that. And again, in a space that's often loud, reactive and unregulated, you've been one of the voices that bring clarity and structure to the chaos that is sometimes known as aesthetics land. Today, we're going to be diving into the future of aesthetics. I'd like to hear your views on where you think this industry is going, from trends to clinical training, ethics, and where the industry really needs to head next. So, Julien, welcome to my Barefaced Chat.
Thank you.
Does that introduce you? Would you like to add any
amazing.
more?
It's almost like, it's I've got to step up to the mark now.
You do already.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. Thank you very much. It's almost, okay. Thank you very much. I didn't realize it was, that much that I'd, but thank you. Yeah,
You did. I've admired you from afar. I sound like a weird, admiring him. If we just go back to where it all started, like, when did you get into, how long have you been in it? When did you start 40?
Okay, so I think I'll go before 40 because I kind of fell into it, really. I was working for the ophthalmic industry. Mm-hmm. So about 12 years in the ophthalmic industry. And the one that was linked to this one primarily was the intraocular lens business. Okay. So I was working as a consultant for a UK and also after that a US-based company who got acquired by big players now. And I was responsible for delivering raw materials to manufacture intraocular lenses and also the technology to do that. So I've been doing that for many, many years. Mm-hmm. In the intraocular lens business, they use also an injectable, which used to be HPMC or silicone oils, and also hyaluronic acid. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the businesses that started out with fillers were actually businesses that were doing initially intraocular lenses. Wow. And HPMC and the viscoelastics that go when you inject into the eye when you replace a crystalline lens.
Every day's a school day.
Yeah, well, yeah. So this is where it stems from. So all the guys, it's a really, really small industry. So all the guys, Allergan, I used to go to their factories for the intraocular lens business. And then an opportunity came about with a manufacturer in Berlin, in Germany, one of the big players who got acquired by Zeiss. They had obviously they couldn't compete in that business, so they went and created an offshoot, and that was where Amalian started from. So I got that opportunity. I went to see them in Berlin, and I was leaving that industry, and I said, see what opportunities we have. She said, Dr. Kreiner at the time, said, come over, we'll have a little chat. We've tried launching this in the UK. We've not been successful. How about you have a go? So I said, yeah, sure, I'll have a go. We'll see how it goes. And that's where it started from. So it started with fillers. It started with the Amalian range, so German products. It was really hard at the time, really, really hard, because you had to kind of forge your way in what was a very competitive industry, with the likes of Allergantics and all the big players, Galderma. Really, really, really big companies. Blood, sweat and tears, and started to make a little bit a way forward. And then, you can see that there's, as you go along the route, you find other opportunities, other products that kind of complement it. And over the last 13 years, we've kind of built the portfolio with products that make sense, because you've got to have something that brings something to the table, works, is safe, and doesn't compete with the range you have. So, now as a business, I guess we have, 4 or 5 times a week, you get somebody saying, how about, do you want to sell this? We're trying to find a partner in the UK. So, you got to try and sift through that and not discount everything, because sometimes you find a gem and you think, oh, okay, this technology is interesting. Yeah. Let's look a little bit more. Wow. But yeah, that's the journey, that's really.
Wow, that's amazing.
Well, it's not amazing. It's just hard work and having to feed a family,
Very true. Yes, when it comes down to it, absolutely. Kids, I'm going to go and find a filler. That's No, I mean, I do find it interesting, especially having been in the industry from the beginning. Yeah. So, when I started 21 years ago. So when was that? When did you get do you remember the
So I started in 2012.
2012.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was, February 2012.
Okay, fine. Yes, so you've been doing it a long time.
Yeah, a little bit in this industry, yeah. And before that, obviously, the ophthalmic sector. Yeah.
Okay, that's really interesting. Well, I mean, I started life out before the filler boom.
Okay.
So when QMed was around, when collagen fillers were around, Zyplast-Zydon, Hydrofill.
Okay.
A long, long time. And the industry was entirely different then. So I guess you were making your way into an industry that had some traction. So it would make sense to you to get have a filler first is my point.
Yeah, of course. I mean, they were the kings of the products. Everybody wanted filler. Filler was everything. And it's changed a lot now, but that was what everybody wanted: Botox and filler.
Yes.
And that's as a clinic, that's what you did. There was very little more initially.
Yeah, that's right, actually, and that's when the industry. When I left Harley Medical Group, 4 years after I joined it, the industry had gone from about working inside Harley Medical Group had gone from about 70% surgical when I started to the opposite being true when I left.
Yeah.
So the at home, the customer going to clinics on the street instead of bringing the Harley streets.
Yeah.
What we used to say. Was massive.
Yeah.
So I can see why filler was a major pull in. Yeah. When was it that you added the next product to the portfolio?
So the next product was they had a lash growing product, which they launched anyway because they were sort of ophthalmic geniuses. They had products that were better than what was out there at the time. So it's a lash product to grow your lashes. It didn't have any of the problems, it didn't have sort of denatured alcohol and that sort of thing. So it wasn't an irritant, and different type of prostaglandin, which was better as well. Because the funny thing is the industry, sometimes they say, okay, well, this drug, and one of the side effects is growing lashes.
That's right.
But actually it's not a drug, to grow lashes, for something else. So you had to be a little bit careful. Whereas we found a derivative of it, a different prostaglandin, a different type of prostaglandin that would do that without the problem. So we went with that because that was a great product, and that gave us a bit more traction. People, started to look at us a bit more as a distributor. And then we went on to just happen to have a meeting with somebody who didn't speak any English, but stuffed a whole load of syringes into my bag. When I was looking for another product, I said, I want cannulas. And he said to me, no. He just sort of gestured. And he grabbed something from his bag and shoved it in my bag. And he was a manufacturer based in South Korea. Brilliant. And I kind of thought, that's not really what I want, I wanted the other one. So he said, no, this. So I said, okay, this. Okay, well, I've got a few contacts. Let me just send this to a few people. And it just went crazy. And people said, oh my God, this is the best thing I've ever found to inject Botox.
Stop.
Yeah. So this was the FMS. That's the story of FMS. And now we are, the biggest in the world in terms of distribution for that product. So that things like this just happen along the way. Some are accidents, some you actually, you kind of really seek out. But I think most companies always have one product that will kind of propel them.
Yeah, that's right.
If they get lucky with it, and we had that, and then it kind of, people started to knock on our door and say, okay, well, I've heard you've got this, we need to get this because somebody's recommended it. So it was really a lucky break for us, really.
Gosh, I can't believe that. I didn't realize that was a story. That's amazing.
It's a total kind of we just happened to cross paths on the stand, with he was a distributor, I think, for the same for Melian as well, and he was also doing products, and he had his product on their stand, so it was really cool. So yeah, and after that, we just, you just need to think, okay, well, what do people need? And let's try and find the best of what we can that they need,
Oh, wow. Well, we're going to cover a lot today. And what I'd like to do, which is, I knew that this conversation would be ever evolving.
Oh,
it's not difficult between us, but I want to have a look at initially at innovation and industry and the insights that you can give me on your products and why 40 as a distribution company is worth looking at. I know, and I think it would be nice for anybody listening, which is probably practitioners and patients and customers, why we believe so much as to how good they are. Then we're going to have a little look at regulation.
Okay.
And education.
Okay.
And then move into practitioner support, because that's you. I think you are really good at that.
We try.
You are really, really good at that. Knowing, being a practitioner on the other end of it.
Okay. Yeah.
I can say wholeheartedly that you're really good at that.
Oh, thank you.
And then product rollout, which seems to be absolutely effortless for you guys because there's always something new coming out.
Okay.
And then the aesthetics landscape ahead.
Wow. Yeah. Big agenda.
Big agenda.
Yeah.
Buckle up, baby.
Yeah.
So you guys have become really well known for championing innovative and clinically proven stuff. It's a bit of a funny word, that.
No,
but clinically proven is something big. So why would you urge any practitioner listening or patient listening or client listening to back 40 or look at you as a company?
Well, firstly, thank you very much for anybody who's considering us. Coming from again, going back to the ophthalmic industry, and I'll just give you a little bit of background. For me, coming into the aesthetics business, I really struggled.
Yeah.
Because for me, it's a bit fluffy.
Absolutely.
It's not a medical necessity.
Yeah.
You're not dying. You're not losing your sight.
Yes.
You're not losing your hearing. You can walk.
Yeah.
For most, you're not fixing a problem. You're kind of enhancing. And I think it took me a while to get it. Actually, when we did lots of training, people come out and they feel great. They're really happy. It's they've got a spring in their step. So it took me a while to really get it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but I came from that background thinking, these are medical devices initially. So one, they have to be safe. So whatever we do has to be safe. It has to deliver. So if we have a claim, we've got to be able to back it up.
Yeah.
So if it's supposed to do this, it has to do it. You can't just say, it does it. And then, as a business as well, people are going to say, well, hang on, I can't take you seriously because actually what you said doesn't actually work.
Yeah.
So we've got to do our homework. I personally will look at a lot of clinical papers. Wow. So if there's any kind of new technology, if there's existing technology or anything like that, I'll really look at it. When something new comes to the market and it's creating demand, as a business, I have to look at it. I have to listen to it, but I never jump in first. I always think,
wait.
yeah, exactly. You sort of think, okay, one, is it safe? How much history is there on it in other markets, not just this one?
Yeah.
And, are people going to be happy with the results?
Yeah.
And the other thing is it reasonably priced?
Yes.
Can people afford it? Or is it just going to be for the elite? Or is it, for me, it's about, having a market for it as well, not just select few. So that's how I kind of approach it.
Love that. Perfect. I mean, I think that's to me, it's obvious, but maybe I've got the same hat on as you sometimes. So for me, it makes sense as a practitioner and a brand owner. And I think that the most important thing for me is my patients.
Yeah, of course.
So it has to make sense,
of course,
for the end consumer and the gamut is massive.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of affordability and demographic, and you know, so I think that you cover those bases really well, and your portfolio is huge now.
Yeah.
So you do have such a lot on offer for a lot of people. So it makes sense for practitioners to want to know. To use you, because you know you're almost like a one-stop shop, really. You've covered a lot.
Yeah, we try to be. We've got to be, you know, we've got to be careful with that as well. You know, have the right things. But I think also, you know, going back to sort of price as well. You know, it's got to be honest. You know, and I think there's a lot of companies out there who super inflate prices. Let's just say, and you know, I think when you have a portfolio that's quite large. You don't have to have really, really high prices because you've got a broad spectrum of products. So, you know, if you were just doing one product, you think actually, you know, and again, you know, device companies having it really hard because they have to sell high because, you know, you're only going to sell so many devices and they're very expensive. I understand that business model. And you have to do that. You've got no choice. You've got a structure, you've got engineers, you know, got everything else. You need to loan devices, that sort of thing. But because we've got such a broad range of products, we can afford to have lower margins on you know, potentially higher value things that you would see in the market at much higher prices because of the way we operate.
I mean, it's such a story, and I think it's so important for people listening and knowing that they can come to you, knowing that there's a history, knowing there's a backstory, and knowing there's a quality behind what you do and a rationale. So, how do you find that you separate, you know, I suppose hype?
It's a lot of that,
that word from substance, where it comes to new treatments and ingredients when they land on your desk, when people are going,
I think you have to get past the hype, and sometimes it's really difficult because everybody wants it, and we have a pipeline, and our pipeline we could say, you have it, but I think we've seen it, you know, you've seen it, you know, lots of people seen it. It goes massive wave and it just dies. You know, and you think, okay, well, I don't want to be part of that, you know, journey because you lose credibility for a start. And potentially you'll end up, you know, as a business, you'll end up with lots of stock that you can't sell, you know.
But you seem to have done it really well. You seem to have managed just that like sweet spot.
Yeah, but it's because stuff works, you know. You can't just, you know, you know, it's like anything new comes to market, we'll look at it and we'll, you know, sit back and just say, okay, well, does this really, you know, where's it going? And, you know, let's have a look at some of the clinical, you know, history. Let's have a look at, you know, what it's made of. Let's have a look, see who's using it. So once we're convinced that it does work, we'll go with it. And that could be a product that, you know, other people have launched and create, you know, one of the key things were threads. I mean, PDO threads. Either we were probably the second wave in, but we wanted to see, okay, I mean, everybody's dived into this, you know, there were the non-absorbable ones, and then there were, you know, some of the ones that don't absorb so well, and then came PDO, and we thought, okay, well, PDO makes sense, you know, the product makes sense, the material makes sense, there's lots of history in this, you know, in all sorts of, you know, cardiology, all sorts of, you know, sutures and things like that. So that kind of makes sense. You think, okay, we're going into something that works. We're going to something that is safe, you know, that's got clinical evidence, and that's, you know, been approved for a long, long time. So those sort of things we go with. Other things then, you know, things like Lumixa. I mean, Lumixa for me is probably one of the cleverest products, and unfortunately not so many people, you know, we're probably not doing a good enough job of talking about it, but from a scientific perspective, it's probably one of the cleverest products out there because it's harnessing light, it's doing and it's got lots of clinical evidence. I mean, these are big players in the pharma industry, and we just, you know, happened to fall onto it. Nobody else had it, so there's always a risk when you think, well, actually we're going to be the first ones in the market with this. Is it a gamble? But I think, again, if you do your homework and you analyze the technology and you see, you know, the safety profile and that sort of things, and you think, okay, well, it really makes sense. But then comes the hard work of having to sell it, you know, when people don't really understand it that well. But anyway, this is what you know, how we go about it, really.
I'm getting Skin Geek vibes at the moment because I think that you are so clever at understanding the technology.
Is a big word, but
No, but behind, that's the thing. So for me, like Lumixa, my team are always saying, we need to push that. And I still don't get it. When you say that, and I feel like
it's complicated. It is. People think, no, I mean that really it doesn't know.
You put a gel on,
and then just put it under a light. No, but it's incredible.
And we've seen that with patients where it's worked amazingly. When we've really pushed it. But I totally get that. For you, that would not be my pick.
No, it's a hard pick. It's difficult to sell because people just think, no, surely it, But then if you have to dig into it, and we initially had it, and it was maybe a little bit complicated. And then actually came the era of regenerative, aesthetics,
Massive,
which that's a brilliant arena. I mean,
isn't it?
Yeah, it's great. And I think people suddenly, when they use that word, you kind of think, okay, now people are starting to get patient.
Yes.
You understand that it's not overnight,
We've been banging the drum for years.
Exactly. And there's a way of doing this, just be a little bit patient.
Yeah.
And you'll get the results. And I think this is where we said, well, actually, this is what it is.
Yeah.
It's using your body to do the work. It's just giving it a helping hand. So it's a boost to your own cells, your own body. Saying, okay, well, we're going to help you do the stuff on your own. Like polynucleotides and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But without the needle. So it's exactly the same. But it's you doing it without having to go through the skin.
Okay, you've convinced me. I need to go back and look
Excellent.
at it.
Thank you very much. This podcast was worth it.
It was worth it. I'm hearing you now. I'm hearing you.
Great.
So over the past 5 years then, given that you've seen this rise and you've managed to read the market, what changes have you seen in, practitioner and patient demand? We've talked about regenerative.
Yeah.
You've talked about watchful waiting.
Yeah.
You've talked about making clever decisions or smart decisions with what you pick. What, over the last 5 years, then how have you and what changes have you seen that have made you say, okay, we can't go down this route? Is PDO threads one? It's like, it has the era?
Yeah, in the last 5 years, I think you could go back further. I think you have to go back further. Don't you? Yeah. I think you got to start 10 years ago.
10 years,
it was all fillers, and the look was really different,
yes,
wasn't it?
Very.
It's like because I think people the border was blurred, weren't they? You're always pushing the envelope a little bit more.
So true.
I just give you a little bit more, and you look at yourself in the mirror and think, no, just a bit more. We can take a bit more. and
true.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then for you, it's normal, but for everybody else, it starts to get a bit weird.
Yeah.
And I think people, again, it's a business, and we all have to understand that, and we should understand, and it's ethical that we understand, and it's a moral obligation that we explain that as well. And we're honest about it. There's money in this game.
Yes.
And the more you fill, the more money you get.
Yeah.
So you have to say, well, these guys who sometimes, have left a medical career to go into this industry.
Yeah.
In the early days, they had to make a living. And the way to make a living is you had to fill.
Absolutely.
Botox and fill. So frozen faces and massive cheeks.
Absolutely.
That's what it was about, wasn't
100%.
it?
And they were incentivized to do it.
Yeah, of course. And okay,
Yeah.
And I think now the industry has evolved.
Yeah.
It was done safely.
Yeah.
It's important to say, but
100%.
But the look has changed, and I think the technology and the scope of things available now to practitioners, such as yourselves, makes it that you have more choices.
Yes.
And I think you have a way of combining what you want immediately, fillers are still used, it's great, and they have a place, and it's brilliant. But I think people understand that there's a combination of you can do some stuff immediately, and the other stuff you need to let your body do it, and you need to do it over time. So I think over the last 5 years, we've seen a downturn, I think, in fillers. Botox is king,
100%.
it's still there. It's never going to go away because it's got a brilliant place. But we're seeing probably a downturn in PDO threads.
Yes.
But we're seeing more polynucleotides. We're seeing more things like Lumixa. We're seeing a lot more devices.
Yes.
So devices have really,
Massive.
they've really come about now, and they're delivering as well. There's this technology's been around for a long time, but now there's a bit more of a focus on it.
Definitely.
And it's also expectation. I think it's explained better to patients now that they need to do a course of things.
Yeah.
And it's not a magic wand. You come once and, you never come again. It's like, well, if you want to do this, you have to keep going.
Absolutely.
Because,
the skin's an organ.
Exactly. You're not going to defy age, you're still going to age. So just keep on top of it. And it's, I think it's more realistic.
Yeah, that's a great answer, actually. And that's that's the expectation is the key word for me in this. That is the biggest part of what I do every day.
Yeah.
Manage their expectation.
Yeah.
And how do I do that?
Yeah.
Make sure that I use brands to also manage my expectation.
Yeah. How do you do that?
Is that
I was going to say, how do you do that?
how do I do that?
Yeah.
But by seeing what works, by being patient, by making sure that I explain to my patients that I'm not the right practitioner for you if this is what you want.
Yeah.
So, it helps me knowing that I've got a brands that I work with that have got the same ethos as I have.
Yeah.
And I think if we can get that message across to lots of practitioners, and things have changed, like you said, fillers have changed. We've seen a massive decline in dermal fillers.
Yeah.
Statistically.
Yeah.
And we've seen a huge rise in energy devices and longevity treatments.
Has your patients, how have they changed? Can you?
Yes, they
Are they more informed? Are they less informed?
They're more informed more than ever because of social media.
Okay.
Social media is giving them many tips and tricks.
Yeah.
They're coming in as mini dermatologists.
Yeah.
They are being served up now.
Yeah.
They know exactly which product to use and when.
Yeah. Of course, they know better than you. They come in, this is what I want. Yeah. This is how you do it.
Oh yeah. They bring their friends in to tell you as well. So it's changed massively as a practitioner for me, which has got its positives and its negatives.
Yeah.
Because it dilutes what you feel you can do for them.
Yeah.
But enough about me.
Yeah.
So nice segue then onto, in terms of regulation and education, and we don't want to push the envelope too much here, but what I do want to talk about to you guys is about your ability to prioritize high standards in what you do. You've already touched on the fact that there's clinical evidence behind what you pick, what you do, and why it means so much to you in an industry that's unregulated for you to have these high standards of yourself.
Why does it mean so much? Because at the end of the day, we're the guys selling it.
Yeah.
So, it's products are regulated, in a way that, Europe CPNP for skincare, OPSS, medical devices, they have to be, MHRA approved. You have to have, C certification, that sort of thing. So there is a certain amount of safety there, of course, because you have to use products that are approved, and we do that. We would never consider anything that's not. I know that's not the case for everyone. In terms of regulation, I guess you're referring to who it goes to, or how the distribution, or what do you mean?
The industry's termed, and it's gained this coin phrase that we are in a very unregulated industry. Yeah. What do you understand by that then? Let's start there.
I mean, what do I know? I know that, for us, certainly, you cannot sell something that's a medical device if it's not approved, period. You cannot sell skincare if it's not approved and all the, there's a log of all the products and they are CPNP or PSS, they're safe, basically. I think maybe because there are so many products out there, everybody feels that, or people come into this industry not knowing really, not doing their homework and thinking, it's okay just to grab this and sell it.
Yeah.
Because I can and because I've seen it there and it's on eBay or whatever, so I can just come in and sell it.
Yes.
So I think you have to be wary of that as a consumer and as a practitioner as well, as in this industry, that you need to do your homework, where it's coming from. Yes. And whether it's legal or not. Yes. I've seen distributors advertise openly, stuff that are wholly illegal. Yes. And they think, well, there's nothing wrong with that because they don't know.
They don't know. Yeah.
So I think maybe there's that slightly relaxed approach. And again, it's we have a duty as a distributor to make sure that the end user, the patient, is getting something safe by somebody who is qualified and insured, to deliver this treatment. And at the same time, if they are qualified and insured, we have to make sure that they follow protocols and they have a protocol and they know how to use the product.
Great.
So, I think you have to do that. It would be unfair if you didn't do that, because you cause a problem for the patient, you cause a problem for the practitioner, and you cause yourself a problem.
Absolutely.
So these are the, the basic things, really.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think that was really what I was getting at in terms of what regulation, because I think it means something, lots of things to different people, doesn't it? But there's lots of media hype at the moment around regulation, unregulation, you know, this industry that's been in terms of cowboy, all this Wild West and all this. I've heard loads over the years.
Yeah.
Haven't we?
Yeah. We've had lots and lots, and we could talk about it for hours. And we do occasionally talk about it for hours. I think it's a funny one, isn't it? Because I think, again, I've said that earlier, there's money in this game.
Yes.
And when there's money, you know, when you have the NHS and you have medical treatments and you have doctors and nurses that are working for the NHS, that this is how they make their money.
Yeah.
And you know that they don't have to sell you stuff. They don't have to oversell you stuff. They're not competing with the nurse in the next room, you know, who's in the next ward. You know, they're you know, doing something different, you know, and they are working together.
So true.
But once you work in an industry where there's an awful lot of money in this industry and you have competition and therefore you have to try and, you know, the objective is to make money. You know, let's not, you know, say that it's not.
Around the bush, yeah, absolutely.
So I think that makes it a bit more difficult, and that makes it, you know, there's a certain amount of jealousy sometimes. And this is where we were, I think, a number of years ago when, you know, people were pointing fingers everywhere saying, you're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed, you know, you're that, you know, whether, you know, you've got your PIN numbers, you've got recognized body, we don't want you to do it. You know, only we should be doing it.
So true.
And it kind of, you know, I think it kind of went, everybody saying the word unregulated.
Yes.
You know, and that was, you know, the buzzword. Yeah. But I think, you know, you have to really understand it. And there's all these things, you know, these, you know, particular products should be, you know, drugs or classified as different. Yeah. And actually the manufacturer's saying, well, no, actually they shouldn't be, because, you know, it's fine the way it is, you know. And in a way that they were right, you know, and I think it was more, you know, a bit of housekeeping that needed to be done.
Yeah, very
and
true.
I think it's happening now. I think a lot more people are being grown up about it. Yeah. And I think a lot, don't I? And I think I think it's about,
works for me.
Yeah, it's about the pool, you know, the customer pool. Now people have come to realize actually that pool is quite big.
Yes, I agree.
So, you know, and it's always growing.
Completely agree.
And I think you don't have to worry too much about that.
Yeah,
you know, what the next door neighbor's doing in the same business as you. I think there's a case, just do it well.
Yeah.
Do it honestly.
Look straightforward.
Do it nicely. Do it legally.
Yeah.
And you'll be okay.
I agree.
But don't throw mud everywhere.
Yeah.
Just make sure you're doing it right. And other people will do the right thing. And now that, you know, there's all sorts of ways to get into the more medical side of things. Yeah. And it's the correct way. But there's a massive business in the beauty side of things that are not doing they're not doing injectables. You know, that business is also really big.
It's huge.
It's massive.
It's huge.
And I think, you know, you have to recognize that actually the pool is big enough for everybody. Well, and for everybody to do it well.
I think that one of the things that you do really well is training. And I think that keeps you know, therapists, medics understanding how to do it right. So you have a big, you know, you're quite strict with your training, which I love. You know, to put all my people that have worked for me here through your training, which also shows them the way to do it.
Yeah.
And that you will accept what you will accept, what you won't accept. We have the same prerequisite type thing. So I think that that's huge, actually. So that leads me really nicely onto, and you've covered this beautifully, actually, about why the industry, what does it mean, and what does unregulation mean, and how do you see your role in protecting patients and practitioners. You've already said it, with the backing that you've got, what you do, how you do it. If you were to give some advice to anybody that wants to get into injectables, into, you know, this industry that doesn't have a qualification yet, could they train with you? Could they not? What do they need to go and train somewhere else? Obviously, I know this, but from as a manufacturer, well, as a distributor, what would you say? Do you get approached by people that come to you?
Of course we do. You know, of course we do, and we turn a lot of people away. I think, you know, we have a moral obligation to make sure that, you know, and some think, are you just making it difficult for us? No, actually, I'm safeguarding your business, because you could go under very, very quickly if you get some kind of lawsuit, or, you know. So actually, we're protecting you. So don't get annoyed. You know, just go and do the right thing and do your qualification. So we get a lot of people knocking on our door. We will say no to the ones that we think are not qualified to do it. Certainly, they have to show that they are qualified and that they are insured, for anything, whether you're doing a peel or whether you're doing, a filler.
Yeah.
So you have to demonstrate that to us.
Brilliant.
And I think, if you want to do it,
Right.
just get qualified, do it well and do it right. And again, and if you are a trainer, we as distributors will rely on you to do the right thing as well, because if you are providing training certificates to people, then it needs to go all the way, back up the chain. Then we rely on people that offer training to do the right thing.
Absolutely.
So when you train, do it well. And we train, we have trainers, we've got training affiliate programs, and the people that are affiliated to us are scrutinized. We will go and see their premises, we will have a look at their qualifications, we will see what they're trained, we'll make sure that they've been working with our products for a long time, not just, I can see there's money here, so I want to be a trainer. No, well, you can't, because you need to know how the product works, and that as well.
Absolutely.
You can't just let somebody loose.
No.
It's the first time you do it, now you're a trainer.
That's my biggest fear, actually.
Yeah, of course. and it ruins it for everyone, because it gives the products a bad name, it gives the distributor a bad name. So we have to make sure that whoever we touch is responsible in the same way that we are responsible. And I think this whole industry has almost like a owes itself that, otherwise it gets a very bad name. And I think it's, if you have a look at statistics, it's not terrible. If you do it well, it's a pretty safe industry.
100%. I'm always saying this.
Yeah.
Do it well, do it safely.
Exactly, and it's good for everyone.
Yeah.
It's not it's not a bad industry. It's okay. And the statistics will back that up.
We're still sat here. Jim.
Yeah. So yeah.
We're still sat doing it. That's perfect. Absolutely perfect. And I 100% agree with everything that you've said, with both hats on.
Yeah, of course.
So you've talked about your products being safe and genuinely useful in clinic. How have you looked? And this is getting a bit more really about the business side of things. How have you was scale something that you wanted in the beginning? Was it important that, because you do you've got so many different elements?
Yeah.
Do they all complement? Can I just open my business and go, I'm going to go to Malta?
Yeah, it just happens. It's not really like, oh,
you did say that in the beginning.
Yeah. It's I'm no different to everybody else. It's like, it just it's a journey you go on, and I didn't start this out thinking this is where I'm going to be. I just started this out because I needed to feed a family. And that's what it was about, and I needed to work and find a job, and I was a consultant for many, many years, and I become unemployable. Basically, I was too opinionated.
Just to give your secrets away. It sounds like...
I know, but I'm trying not to give them away too much. So it just happened. We'll just leave it at that.
How easy is that?
Yeah. No, I think as you grow, and you, for me, it was always do it honestly, do it well, do it safely.
Yeah.
And first and foremost, do it nicely. Be nice, do the right thing, and do everything in a nice way, and in an affordable way as well.
Yeah.
And it kind of, it grows itself.
There.
Yeah.
What made you get into hair then? Like how?
Well, because it's close to your head. So
makes sense.
Yeah. So I didn't believe in it initially, because you kind of see all these things around, and they don't work. Oh, this shampoo, it doesn't work. And I was pushed by actually the manufacturer. Said, no, Julien, you should really, have a look.
Okay.
No, I'm not doing it. So, and then he just sent us some product, and I thought, okay, let's send some out. And actually, the feedback we had is, oh my God, this has changed my life.
Wow.
It's, and it works, and there's, manufacturer's very credible, and we know these guys are good. And it works, and then, okay, that's hair. So, okay, well, shampoo and conditioner, that'll go with it as well, which is, full of actives and things like that. But it, it kind of evolves. And I don't know what the next thing's going to be, but I think once you start having relationships with manufacturers, and you'll know this, that they kind of say, oh, we've got this new technology, or we got this ingredient's amazing. Yes. We've started to do little trials on that. Would you be interested?
Yeah.
And it just evolves. And I think I think as a business, this industry is never going to sit still.
No, I agree with that.
And you just have to feed the machine. You have to have something, to show, and technology evolves. And I think that, and again, this, and I think that the thing you don't want to do is just, sit down and think, oh, I'm done now.
Yeah.
I just need to roll with it. And, I'll just sit down and just let the thing do its thing.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You have to constantly, stay up to date with technology, what's coming out.
Do you regularly audit your suite of products to ensure that you feel that they're still meeting demand? Do you take things off? Do you switch things around? Are you regularly looking at your portfolio and doing that?
Yeah. And you'll launch products that will make others obsolete for sure, or that outperform some of the older ones. And you'll see, you'll see statistics, and you'll see that some products are not performing. And so you analyze and think, why is it worth doing? Okay, let's take it away because this is coming through and it's better. You do that all the time. And I think, we're lucky to work with manufacturers that are always trying to innovate. They're always trying to come with new stuff. They don't just stop. It's always really good stuff coming through the pipeline, and it's stuff that is well thought through.
Yes.
But at the same time, you think, okay, well, they're brilliant, but there might be other guys that are just coming through that have just invented something else. So it's, as a business, it's difficult to just, you have to try and keep, to date with all the trends that are coming out. Some of them you ignore, some of them and when there's something that you think is potentially interesting, again, we go back to what we said earlier. You just, really, really look at it really closely, the ingredients, how it works, blah, blah, all the claims and all that sort of thing, to make sure that what you're bringing is going to bring something,
something to the table. So you've talked a bit about how you said that you've been approached. Like, do you go out actively seeking? A lot as well.
So we have shopping trips almost, where you have lots of manufacturers and technology and things like that. So you go and do that, look for things. Not necessarily, you don't really know what you're looking for.
Yes.
Sometimes you do.
Yeah.
And you think, okay, well, I need this because I know the market's going there. So let me have a look, who's doing this. And at other times it's just, you're just walking and having a look around and, there's a gem there. You think, oh, okay, this is really cool. And then you'll just find a gem. It's just, and then the rest of the time is the people you're working with develop new stuff,
Yeah. Oh, I absolutely, this is so interesting.
Yeah, that's the fun part of the job, isn't it? You're looking for new stuff. It's quite cool.
Can I come on the shopping trip next time?
Yeah, sure.
Sounds like the best bit. No, I completely agree. Do a similar thing, but you've already mentioned the word speed in this industry. And it's not slowing down. No. It doesn't sit still.
No.
There's a massive appetite for it. Do you think there's going to ever be a day where we see fillers completely obsolete?
I don't know.
No.
I 60% yes, I'd say, or a different way to deliver them.
Yes.
I think we're getting so clever now in how we can use our own body to deliver. Mm-hmm. So I think that's probably where the most innovation will happen.
Yeah.
And the polynucleotides started that sort of, started with skin boosters, and skin boosters just hydrating, and then polynucleotides do a bit more. Mm-hmm. And, there's so much, even stuff with AI in terms of drug development, that they can just put these through algorithms and they come up and they, almost do, virtual tests on everything. I think that side of the business is probably going to accelerate. You might come to the stage where actually you don't need to inject the hyaluronic acid. You'll just, something will happen that your body will be able to produce what it was producing before. Yeah. So I'm guessing that's the holy grail in terms of,
Absolutely.
You've got to use your body to do the work and not degenerate in a way, isn't it? And it's if you read sort of things and articles around, and there's some people out touting it, in the US, and they have this regime where they have 65 pills a day, and they do 3 hours of slapping around their face or whatever, and lots of different exercises, and for them it works, but they're billionaires and that's what they do during the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I guess that's maybe that technology will trickle down, and you'll see that more maybe for mass consumer market. But it's exciting.
It's really exciting.
But it's all, medicine-led in a way, and pharma-led when it comes to that sort of thing. So, yeah, who knows?
That's really interesting. And I've noticed that you've got a supplement.
Yeah.
How is that going?
It's good. Supplements are really hard to sell. Mm-hmm. It's a very, very crowded market. We know we've got an amazing one. But again, you've got to try to get some elbow room, and it's pretty tricky. We know ours works well. We know who makes it. We know, what's great about it. But it's, I think there's more traction now in supplements, but people sort of, they usually go to sort of, Holland Barrett or whatever, and that's where they get their supplements from, and not necessarily the the beauty clinic or their aesthetician, clinician. So I think there's definitely a space for it.
Interesting.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, it's fascinating to me since COVID.
Yeah.
I think people are supplementing now more than they've ever done.
100%.
I think we're hearing more about menopausal women and their struggles. And menopausal women are really encouraged to use adaptogens, supplement.
Yeah.
It's becoming far more acceptable.
Absolutely.
And far more part of routines, beauty routines.
Yeah.
So I think we will see another rise.
Yeah.
We've kind of seen the rise and fall and rise again of supplementation.
Yeah.
I think we'll see it go again.
Do you know the other thing that's really exciting, and I think is driving it a lot as well, is actually the young ones.
Yeah.
The sort of 16 to 25.
Yeah.
They're starting to, where it was kebabs and chips, and a bit of mayo, For them, kebabs and chips doesn't exist. It's
so
like,
true.
I'm only having one beer,
and
I'm going to have a plant-based burger, and that's what it's about, isn't it? And then they research the supplements, and some of them will get into beef tallow, and others will get into,
so true.
And they really know their stuff, and they say no, and they start to buy. You start seeing supplements in the kitchen. What's this? It's no, this is for my, whatever. I focus better with this. It's funny, isn't it? But they're massive.
Massive.
Yeah.
My son's got a supplement.
There you go.
Galore.
Yeah.
He's always got these bulk powder things, and he's on Shilajit, the most expensive supplement.
That's right. Yeah.
Elon Musk's on that one. Of course he is. He's 19. Why not?
Yeah. But same story.
Lion's mane.
Yeah. Exactly. It's all there, isn't
They're
it?
all doing it. Yeah. I think that, and the rise of mushrooms as well. Adaptogenic mushrooms have been huge in mental health, and I think that plays a big role in what we do. We're wellness. Are we on the right side of it?
Yeah.
So, talking on that then, and how the industry's moving forward, and our responsibility, given that we're in such a fast industry, do you think? And I've always felt like this, that it has to come down from us, the reporting side, post-market surveillance, tracking, reporting. I don't believe we do enough because we can't get the statistics together. We never have been able to do that very well.
Yeah.
Because it's aesthetics.
Yeah.
And we use things off label. We don't get true and meaningful statistics.
No.
Because of the vast degrees that we are in. People, the sea that people in. So do you think that manufacturers and distributors should be more involved with post-market surveillance?
They are, but they're just not getting the connection.
Okay.
And I think this again, I'll stick my head out a little bit. This stems from this business being competitive. Okay, you are competing for customers in this market, and I think when you have a problem, you try, and again, okay, let's go back to some years back, when fillers came to market. There were some issues.
Absolutely.
And when we came to market with fillers, the norm was roughly 4% will have a problem.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, the tolerance you're going to have, 96 is going to be okay, but you're going to have 4%. They're going to have issues, granulomas, that sort of.
Yeah.
That was the case.
What it is.
Okay. It's evolved since then. And it is much, much better since you've had, gels in the market.
That's right.
But I think the issue was people were very reluctant to raise their hand and say, I've got a problem here. Because then all the practitioners around them would say, that person's had a problem, don't go there.
It's so true.
So because there's money in the game and because people are competing, I think that's probably where the issue is.
Got you.
I think there's been brilliant industry initiatives in terms of, safety forums, where people could say, actually, I don't feel isolated. I can talk about it. I've had this issue, and people say, okay, well, we'll help you resolve this issue, blah, blah, blah. But I think it's still, again, the industry is so much safer now in terms of product. There's a lot more history. There's a lot more, things have evolved and technology evolves and becomes safer because, you have the numbers there. But I think that was probably one of the reasons why people would not flag things up so quickly. And still probably to this day where they're slightly reluctant because it's
I think you're
pointing
right.
a finger at them.
I think you're right, actually, and I think from being on the inside of it as well, and being a practitioner, when we started doing fillers, I mean, 20 odd years ago, we weren't trained about VOs.
No,
it wasn't part of the training.
Well,
there was no cannulas.
Yeah.
Either.
Yeah.
So but it was a shock to me.
Yeah.
And somebody said, "Oh yeah, I can actually inject it into a vessel." I was like, "Wait, no, wait, what?"
Yeah.
And then my practice became very, very. I've always been a cautious practitioner.
Yeah.
But I went the other way.
Yeah.
And then I was worried. I can't tell anybody. So you're right. The reporting.
Yeah.
From a grassroots perspective.
Yeah.
I can see why.
Yeah. The manufacturers want it. We get the fillers and the manufacturers of fillers come to us, regularly saying, okay, have you had anything? We need, and nobody does, and actually, saying that, we used to have a file, of issues back in, 2012 and all that, and used to get a few, as I said, 4% was kind of the norm. Nowadays, I've had years with absolutely nothing. So, fillers have become, the good ones have become really safe. But, again, you're saying, in the early days, okay, well, didn't have cannulas.
This is it, yeah.
Okay. And needles. Okay. Where'd you learn to inject first?
The
most dangerous place with a needle, and that's what it was. And that's, and people were thinking that's okay.
Yes.
And unfortunately, you have to go through that in a lot of industries until you actually think, actually, what are we doing here? And that's how industry evolves. But it was basically do the most dangerous thing on the first day. Wasn't it?
Exactly right.
Glabella and here. Yeah. Let's go to it. If they survive this, you're okay.
At least you know how to treat.
Yeah. Your patient's good. They're pretty resilient. Your patient for life.
Yeah. It's so true.
Yeah, it's crazy. If you think about it, but nobody really was questioning it at the time. It was, it's okay.
Well, we weren't talking about the cheeks descending into the mid face and we need to treat up here first.
Is there an artery there, really?
It's a revelation.
Yeah.
So okay, well that's really interesting. I love that because that's a really honest, true look, and I think it will shock some people, and I think it will encourage practitioners to take a different view about it because it's about safety. So looking ahead, scientifically, tick for me, you've got that covered. Ethically, commercially, are you planning to continue to grow?
It's everybody asks you that, where are you going to be in 5 years' time? You have an appraisal, where are you going to be in 5 years' time? Oh, it's really hard. What do you want to be
when you grow up?
Yeah. I mean, I'll ask you the same thing. Where are you going to be in 5 years' time?
I'm TED talking in the US. I'm spreading the glutathione word. I know I've got goals, babe.
Okay.
But we're doing.
Yeah. Okay.
The only one
Can I
that
join
knows.
your club? I need some coaching.
Nobody knows.
No.
Nobody knows.
Yeah, it's that thing. I think we'll continue to enjoy what we're doing. We've got we're really lucky. We've got a really nice team, and we have fun every day in the office, and we enjoy what we're doing, and we have a good laugh.
I love that.
And we work hard, and we do the right thing. And I think as long as we're enjoying it, as long as we are, bringing the right products to market, we'll continue to do that. How many more products I'll have, in the next year, I don't know. It just depends what happens, depends what I find, depends what our partners come up with as well. I just want to keep having fun, and it's an interesting industry, isn't it? And you meet lots of really cool people.
You do.
And it is good fun, Oh, yeah.
We already know this. Tell me about what your favorite product is then in your portfolio.
Oh, okay. So
Lumixa you've made very clear.
I think
to
Lumixa
me.
is just very, very clever. For me in terms of technology, wow, that's incredible. Favorite products, I love the skincare. I love the Clinic Air skincare. I love the Sibelia SPF. There's lots of things in there, and I think I love them all. They're my children.
They're like your babies. How do I pick one?
So I think they've all got a place, and I think it would be unfair. To say there's one that is better than the other because they all have a place. The devices are brilliant. I love having an Apollo treatment. It's great. Yeah, it's I don't know. I wouldn't be able to pick one.
I'm the same.
I'll have give me all of them.
I'm the same.
Yeah.
When anybody says to me, pick, you've got to have one.
Yeah.
Like it's like picking my children.
Yeah, exactly. It's not fair on the others, is it? They're going to sulk afterwards. I'm not selling now. I'm sitting here.
So true.
Yeah.
They'll get very jealous. Is there any industry myths or trends you feel that would just
Do you know what? I don't know. Have you got one? Do you know, you kind of, sort of raised that for me a while back, and I've been thinking about it ever since. Yeah, maybe one, but you go first.
Without wanting to upset any of your children.
Yeah.
I love threads, love them.
Yeah.
But I find them really hitting. As a discernible practitioner that feels like I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
They kind of like, I'm like, oh, I thought I knew this. I thought I knew this, how it's worked.
Yeah.
And I know that patient selection is key with every treatment that we do. And I say no more than I say yes some days. I find threads really difficult because I think people's expectation of them, given the types that are out there, really difficult.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, the patients I've done them on have all been happy, but I'm left feeling like,
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
you know? So I feel like for me, that's one of those, like, I think I could probably do a really good job with filler there.
Yeah.
You know, or a combination. I'm massively into combination treatments. So we do like loads of almost like Korean stacking without, doing anything that would contraindicate.
Yeah.
But we do combinations of like IPL, Apollo, we massively love that.
Yeah.
We do the carboxy masks. We do boosting glows in between toxin and whatever. So, I'm a huge believer in lots of these kind of individual, really funky treatments that people tend to have one or two of.
Yeah.
They should have more of them.
Yeah.
Fair. But threads for me is a bit like, if you stay, if you go, I'm down.
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you mean. And it is that. And I think the industry embraced threads. I mean, massively. It's like a massive hug, wasn't it? We want you. And that's all they did. And that's all they did.
Yeah.
And I think after a while, they kind of discovered, practitioners had the same journey as you. And they said, well, actually, it's got a place, but it's not going to do everything.
Yeah.
So I think now again, it's another tool in your armory.
Yes.
Or in your toolbox, I should say, not your armory. But it's use it when you need to use it.
Yeah.
It's got great things. It's not the be all and end all. But as you say, there's so many treatments now. You can, you skin a cat in so many different ways. And carboxy and peels and everything else. I think sometimes what there is you almost get confused, because you think, okay, well, what am I going to do here?
Yes.
Because I've got so many ways of doing it.
Yes.
So I guess you've got to be patient-led as well, what they like, what they don't like, the sort of feeling that they like, how impatient are they, how quickly do they want, also what's their budget.
Yeah.
But I think the exciting thing is there's lots available, isn't there? A myth, I think it's gone now, but I think it was a myth. And is it a myth? I don't know. It's sensationalism, I think. Do you remember the days when there was blood all over the faces?
Yes.
Okay. And people, this is the best, and you start thinking, and I think that's one of the myths, actually, that you don't need blood all over your face to have a treatment. Do you remember that?
Absolutely.
The microneedling and all that, and people it's a bloodbath.
Famous picture of Kim K.
Yeah. And it had to be a bloodbath, otherwise it just, you, if you lost a pint, you'd have a good treatment.
It must work.
So I'm glad that's gone.
Oh, that's so interesting. Do you know what's very similar to that?
Go on.
People's perception of the perfect peel. They're like, I want my skin to be hanging off.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. You don't have to.
I have to like, that's not, that's what we're aiming for. But along the way, of course, that theatrics of it is a real draw for people.
It's funny, isn't it? And how people, and I guess it's almost like, look what I've done.
Yes.
Look where I've been. Yeah. It's a bit like that, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Whereas before it used to be really taboo. Now it's like,
it's like you want to show it.
I've got a new arm. It's
proud of the fact
that's
you've got an eye hanging out.
Yeah.
That's so true.
So it's changed, isn't it?
Massively.
Yeah.
And you're right, sensationalism, that's a huge, I love that one. That's great. Okay. Talk to me about social media and the influence it has had on our industry.
Oh, well, I think it's an influence on every industry, isn't it? I think as you know, very, very well, as a business, it's hard work.
Wow.
Because you've got there's a balance, isn't there? I think you've got to deliver the right content. It's got to be interesting, and you're competing in an arena where there is so much of it. And I guess people have got now their attention span is much smaller, and it's all video, so it's always evolving. Now AI is coming into it as well. Now, as a business, it's really challenging to stay up with trends. The good thing is now you've got people, in marketing that is their craft.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean,
it's hard,
for you, it's hard, isn't it?
Very, very tough.
Yeah.
Very, very tough. I think, I don't know what you think. I wanted to kind of talk, and it's not really one of my questions on here, but I really wanted to talk to you about competing in a very, very saturated skin market.
Yeah.
How do you train in such a way that, yes, okay, this term cosmeceutical, I mean, we all love it.
Yeah.
But, how do you train your people, your buyers, your practitioners, your therapists, to be able to talk up a clinic-care product against, I don't know, the Ordinary's product?
Yeah, I don't worry too much about the other products. Okay. And I think you can waste a lot of time doing that. I think you just got to be confident that what you have works and is good, and will deliver. Our primary function is to make sure that our customers are happy doing what they're doing, and also they understand what they're doing. So they understand the product. It's not just face value. Or it says that on the box, therefore, but don't press me on it, because if you ask, I'll fall apart.
Yes.
So it's our duty to really explain, how does it work? How does it do things? So it's we're going back to its education. You have to make sure that, we're not asking them to be, artificially buying into the brand.
Yeah.
They're buying in because we have to make sure that they are convinced. And to convince them, they have to understand it. And it's our job to explain it. And it's our job to show the evidence. And then, it's a relationship. If they do well with it, we do well with it. And, we've got to make sure that, they have all the tools that they need to be able to go on that journey with confidence and comfort,
So eloquent.
Well, I don't know about that.
So eloquent.
Very kind.
That was
Thank
great. It's like it rolls off the tongue. You said it before, haven't you? He's been here before, hasn't he? So, okay, just a very, very few quick fire questions then for you. No favourite product, but favourite treatment.
Favourite treatment?
For you.
Do you know, at the moment, I love the Apollo.
Same.
Lovely mixer.
Same.
And I just, just a nice routine with skincare. But I really like to mix an Apollo at the moment.
Do you have a particular ingredient that you like?
Platon. My God, I forgot that.
And Platon.
All the time.
Yeah, why can't I get
Platon.
into that?
Oh my God. It does everything. It's amazing. Seriously.
I need to get into it.
It's so good.
I have
it is so good. That's probably, to be honest, I've got it at home. One thing I could not live without.
Really?
And it does everything. Genuinely. Any issues, it's crazy. It does it. Wound healing, dermatitis, eczema, spots, and even sort of they're doing trials now with diabetic ulcers, foot sores. It's incredible. And the more people saying, "Oh, I'll have a go, try to see if it does that," it does it.
Okay.
It's so good. Anyway, so that's by the, but that's more of a solving issues. But yeah. I love the Apollo. I love the mixer.
Have you got a particular
How about you?
ingredient?
What's on you?
Oh God, I am in love with the Apollo.
Yeah.
It does so much.
Yeah.
The EMS.
Oh, it's so good.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so good. And it's great to watch, isn't it?
It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Also, I'm a huge fan of Carboxy. I think it's so underrated.
It's massively. Yeah. And it's funny because that comes in waves.
I bet
and
it
all
does.
of the social media, and all of a sudden you see people just posting loads of social media. Oh, look, my results of Carboxy, and all of a sudden we get sales of Carboxy just go through the roof. It's brilliant. I think it's forgotten, and I think it shouldn't be ignored because it's really good.
It's great.
Yeah.
And I think if you combine what you guys have got, you've got like a powerhouse. So we've got something called the Skin Club.
Okay.
Have you heard of? Have we told you?
You've just told me about it. Yeah.
Okay. Our Skin Club is like a skin gym. But we've seen it being done before in other places. But we bespoke tailored treatments, and patients come in, sign up for 6 months or 9 months.
Okay, yeah. That's clever.
Brilliant.
It's brilliant. And they have access to everything, basically.
Everything.
Yeah,
They get
that's so
discounts
cool.
off treatments. We bespoke. By the end of it, we put them under our Observe. That we can actually have evidence that the treatment's worked.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then most people now are in their third and fourth cycle.
So they just come in and say, do what you do.
Do what you do.
That's perfect, isn't it? That's brilliant. And I think as a patient, that's what we all want, isn't it? Just this is your face. My face is yours.
Yeah.
Do what you need to do.
It's amazing.
It's brilliant, isn't it? Because you know what you're doing.
Oh, I can't tell you.
Yeah.
The people that just like, can I just do it again?
Yeah.
I just need to. I need to subscribe to myself.
Yeah. I'm going to book in now.
That's what they say. I want to see him back here again next week. Is there anything that you guys would never touch with a barge pole?
Anything that's unsafe or not proven, or with a barge pole, I've not seen anything that's that's terrible. There's stuff in the past that was really terrible that I would not touch with a barge pole, but stuff now, I think probably in our industry, anything that is permanent.
Yes.
That's probably the thing. I mean, that is for a surgeon. That's a completely different domain, and we shouldn't confuse the two. But other than that, I can't think of anything. It's when there's new stuff, I will not. I will really look at it, but potentially it could work. So I don't know. So does that answer your question?
It does answer my question, okay. Julien. It's been emotional.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
It's just been an absolute
brilliant
hoot.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
Every time I'm seeing you, I absolutely love it. Just think you're the most fabulous human. Please come back again.
Yeah, definitely will do. Yeah.
All right,
thank you. Can't keep me away now.
Absolutely not. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That's it for today's Barefaced Chat. Thank you so much for listening. If you've loved this conversation, make sure you follow, rate, and share. It really helps more people find us and join the conversation. I'll be back next week with another honest, unfiltered chat. Because skin isn't just skin. It's your story, and I'm here for it.